This video is a breakdown of Zombies history, and the second breaking down of each map, but this time it's the beginning of the Zombies Easter egg formula, so I can't wait to share how these Easter eggs were solved. Enjoy. Some of the footage in this video is from Internet Archives. The links will be found down below. 2009 was a rough year for the world, but Call of Duty was doing something magical that it made you forget about all the troubles. Call of Duty was entering its most innovative years. The span of Call of Duty Modern Warfare through Call of Duty Black Ops 2 is considered to be an untouchable time for Call of Duty fans. Internally, both Infinity Ward and Treyarch were creating magic year after year. On the lunch breaks of developers inside of Treyarch, they were secretly creating what would become known as the zombies of today. Originally a Nazi tower defense mode was now a Kino der Toten, and 4 iconic maps were made for World at War: Kino der Toten, Verrückt, Chino Numa, and Darice. Zombies was always innovating map to map, blending the eerie sounds of horror with the arcadey gameplay of a survival-based mode. As more innovations were made, so too were the players' expectations of zombies. Treyarch was in a race to one-up Infinity Ward and impress the audience who loved zombies.
We live in a world where everything you know is wrong.
This is it! Go, go, go!
Treyarch looked to push past the days of World War II and instead deliver a take on a period of time few games were delving into: the Cold War. There is a reason, after all. The Cold War isn't exactly over. The Actman discussed in his video series on these games that Call of Duty was always ambitious in this innovative era. In his words,
and you'll realize that Call of Duty Black Ops might have testicular cancer because their balls are fucking huge.
Black Ops nearly started another war in its mission depicting the assassination of Fidel Castro. Nobody seemed to pay attention to the fact that in the mission, the player kills someone that is set to look like Castro and fails the original plan. But it's not like Fidel Castro is a made-up character or that he was dead at the time. No, in fact, he was only 2 years out of his time as Prime Minister of Cuba when the mission dropped. The point is, history was brutal and is brutal. Yet Treyarch wasn't afraid to put you right into the story.
This is it. You ready to make history?
Black Ops 1 would release to critical acclaim on November 9th of 2010 with the smashing success of a story that is still my personal favorite of the franchise, and a staple of gaming memes to this day.
The numbers, Mason. What do they mean?
Every single part of this game was innovative, and I am considering discussing the game as a whole one day. All of this is to say Black Ops 1 would still be great without zombies the way World at War was. So when I say that zombies was the most memorable portion of an incredible year of Call of Duty, you just have to believe me. Welcome back to Zombies, Black Ops Edition, the innovative era of Call of Duty, and the first major Easter egg in the series. It's time to meet our rapidly decaying idiots, the zombies. Dead Ops Arcade was a fun top-down mode for zombies fans that wanted a classic of round-based fun. It offered co-op, a ton of power-ups, and just a lot of laid-back fun. It wasn't my favorite, but there were levels referencing World at War, and the levels consistently became harder with some cut content from Kino and Ascension, like an engineer zombie boss that was supposed to be in Kino der Toten. And the final boss at level 40, the Cosmic Silverback Gorilla, which fans thought was going to be a part of Ascension. I don't have a lot to say about Dead Ops Arcade, but on PC with console commands, you can play it in first person, so that's nice. Now, back to the zombies most of us know. Look familiar? If you're a Zombies fan, Kino der Toten will either be the single most important Zombies map to you, or the most overrated. But how foolish were we to take this little bit of foreshadowing in the form of a 5-second room for granted? Kino der Toten, or Theater of the Dead. You know what? Richtofen, start us off.
Entry 741021! Perhaps this station will hold the key to the real goals of Group 935. I still do not trust my unconventional allies, but they are of great use to me. But I digress. Who would have thought the MDT was capable of time travel? How many stations does this group have? Where did that little girl disappear to? Only time will tell what new questions await us in this theater of the damned.
Thanks, Rick. Kino is a map that wasn't even supposed to be made for Black Ops, at least not in its original vision. This is a World War II Nazi theater placed in the world of Black Ops Cold War setting, and it's widely discussed as the most known map, making it a lot of players' favorites. But did you know this was directly inspired by the blown up theater in Inglourious Bastards? I know this map is pretty basic by today's standards and laughed at by the zombies community for journalists ranking it as the best map, but just because it's a meme doesn't mean Kino was bad by any stretch. Activision clearly scrapped the idea of another zombies map in World at War, and Treyarch obliged by making Kino set in World War II with a nice blend of both eras. Group 935 has yet another facility of experimentation, and this time it's up to our main cast of characters, Tank Dempsey, Nikolai Belinsky, Takeo Masaki, and of course, Edward Richtofen, to journey through time and save the day. The map was a nice step up for a beginner map instead of Kino der Toten, as Kino held the perks you were going to want. It held Pack-a-Punch, and some new innovations that were iconic for zombies. While Kino may serve as another facility for Group 935, it also serves as a nice reminder that Nova 6 crawlers exist now as a secondary zombie. The writing on the wall of "Beware the Six" tells you ahead of time. The story of Kino isn't clear, but the environmental details, sound design, and general vague elements that Leon talks a lot discussed in his video seem to prove why Kino is a map worth coming back to.
Kino der Toten was the first map that Black Ops 1 players would unlock, as well as being a great map to train on for noobs. Mix this in with the fact that Call of Duty Black Ops is the most sold COD game of all time, and you have a recipe for success.
In terms of sheer innovations this map brought, you have the more subtle ones, like blank canvases of characters coming one day, or were these unnamed scientists of Group 935 erased from history? There's the experiments in these pods, meteorite pieces scattered, and in the Pack-a-Punch room a nameplate saying Dr. Maxis next to a meteor piece. There's these hidden radios and film reels you can find by teleporting through the Pack-a-Punch to other rooms. Speaking of teleports, the developers could have shot you right back after Pack-a-Punch, but they didn't. Instead, you sit in the projector room and have a countdown clock to exit. After the clock strikes midnight, you are sent to 4 potential locations: a normal bedroom, which we discussed earlier, a bloody Teddy version of the room, a dentist's office, and the Pentagon. The subtle innovation isn't just in the small rooms leading your attention to pick up the film reels for the story. It's in the environmental details for fans of Dr. Maxis, Samatha, and Richtofen. With the help of no clipping, we can see those details in the rooms, because normally you'd only be here for 5 seconds then teleport out. In the normal room is a wooden model with the main cast on it. Some have called this Doris's layout, but I don't really see it. There is the screams from the dentist chair reminding me of Verrucht all over again, and the Pentagon room is a nod to 5. But the rocket in this room would tease Ascension, Zombies' first DLC map for Black Ops, and our very first major Easter egg. The red teddy room, you have to pay very close attention and turn your sound up. Okay, this scared the shit out of me when I was younger, so if we're gonna remind you of the time, I just couldn't resist. This room's significance is still questionable. It was probably just someone at Treyarch's nightmare turned into a room. Back to the map, there's even a reward for shooting the radios and grabbing the film reels when you come back to the Pentagon room, as you can blast the rocket off. At least that's what videos say on YouTube, because I couldn't get this to work. I don't want to sound like a grocery list here, but I genuinely enjoyed the innovations made. The power when flicked on spawns Nova 6 crawlers as a nice surprise, and while annoying, they are another obstacle. There's the lights that turn on over every box showing you where the actual mystery box is, and a new trap in the machine gun which you can always shoot, which can also shoot you if you're not careful. I think that's it. I don't think I missed any... Oh, yeah. Just the single most powerful wonder weapon in the entire game. The Thunder Gun replacing the Wunderwaffe as the wonder weapon for Black Ops. Originally, the Thunder Gun was supposed to premiere on the next map in this video, while the Wunderwaffe returned here, but that didn't happen. Other cut content shows the Engineer boss, which we talked about, but it might have been too much for beginners, so they probably put it in Dead Ops for that reason. Candelier was supposed to be a brand new perk for this map to increase your reserve ammo, and the flamethrower from World at War was supposed to be exclusive to 5 and Kino, but instead moved to Dead Ops as well. Kino might not have had a major Easter egg. In fact, it has an Easter egg that I can't even get to work. And it may not have made the strides in innovation and generally has more subtle innovations. And although I like it, I think this map played it safe to introduce players to zombies. Unlike...
In the long history of the world, that there are only a few generations.
Sounds like someone breaking in!
It's just a storm, Dick. Sit down.
Innovation and 5 are a combo that is really like peanut butter and ketchup. Parts of 5 work really well, and I respect the hell out of the map for trying them. But other parts just make 5 a fun idea without being special. 5 asks the question, what if JFK, Richard Nixon, Defense Secretary Robert McNamara, and Fidel Castro set aside their differences with the Cuban Missile Crisis to fight waves of zombies? I look back on 5 with so much nostalgia before I jumped in. It was the map that was so hard and probably full of mysteries that young me left for future me. But future me is here now, reporting that only part of young me's vision was true. 5's level design reminds me of the claustrophobic nature of Verrucht. But for some reason, I just don't enjoy this map as much as I used to, or as much as I used to think I enjoyed this map. And I finally decided why. Okay, there's a few reasons. But to start, the wonder weapon is just bad. Look, I'm not pointing fingers. Okay, I am pointing fingers, but they're not sharp fingers. The wonder weapon was supposed to be the Thunder Gun for the map, and I'm sure the level designers took that into account when designing 5. But with the Winter's Howl here instead of the Thunder Gun, the map becomes less interesting because this gun is handicapping your high rounds. On round 30, it takes more than 5 full hits to freeze a single zombie. And on round 34, it takes the full pack-a-punch clip of 9 shots to kill a zombie. The effect from the freeze is really neat looking, and it's good to slow down zombies, but it just has this massive cloud of freeze, and isn't great other than some fun. What I can appreciate from the box is the ballistic knife and crossbow pack-a-punched. These were also in Kino, but I never really talked about their utility. The crossbow becomes its own version of monkey bombs, but at the cost that the weapon slot will be used for utility, so it's best suited for team play, and the ballistic knife instantly revives a teammate if you shoot a downed one. It's neat stuff. Besides the wonder weapon and some tight spots to never really be accommodating high round zombies, I can't fault the map for much. In fact, I give this full credit for trying new things. For starters, you can jump through all of the large windows in the basement by crouch jumping, and the teleporters add a new element of fun once the power is on. The way to get to Pack-a-Punch is also iconic, with DEFCON raised to level 5, then jumping in a teleporter. I think we can all agree the silence of being able to Pack-a-Punch, followed by the doors blasting open to hundreds of zombies, is the best moment of the map. 5 is missing one thing though, the horror.
Warning. Breach detected on level 3. Initiate security protocol 115.
Okay, this is nightmare fuel. The Pentagon thief was 5's new take on a dog round. Everything about this guy is freaky. Is he a zombie or not? Why does he run like that? And why does he choose not to kill you, but to steal your weapons? How come only the player he's chasing can see him? For everyone else, he's just a cloud of red numbers. But he's always trying to steal your weapons and run away before you get him. I always loved that if you killed him before he stole anyone's weapons, he dropped a bonfire sale, which automatically maxed DEFCON to level 5 and made a Pack-a-Punch weapon only cost 1,000 points. There's more to learn about the mad scientist later, but for now, there's an Illuminati symbol on his jacket. 5 doesn't have any other major Easter eggs, and I can't play the Eminem song for this map. I can show you more subtle ones though, like the callbacks to World at War and the pictures on the walls of the Pentagon. The Treyarch logos on the metal detectors, Richthofen's picture too. Why are you in the Pentagon, Rick? There's a ray gun sitting outside of the map, and some experiments explaining more of the existence of Nova 6 crawlers. 5 also has some amazing detail outside of the map, with full rooms and sets that you will never play on this version, unless you have no clip and God mode. Then have at it. I think my favorite amongst these many sets outside are these staircases by both elevators, meaning the zombies don't just teleport to new locations. Zombies need to get their steps in too. In all, I believe 5 was a step in the direction of innovation, but not everything worked, and there's not a major Easter egg by any stretch. And because of its map design and decisions, it's why you don't see a lot of the choices 5 made going into future maps. 5 works for the novelty of the characters and setting, and less the practicality of what the series is known for.
Can you smell what the prez is cooking?
Now, onto Zombies' first DLC map for Black Ops, and in my opinion, one of the largest strides of innovation on every level.
Main power offline. Auxiliary power activated.
Yeah, I'm almost out of vodka. I mean, no power!
Ascension, it just aged like a fine wine. Every single facet of this map is something new. And there's ideas in here that Call of Duty would never do again, like the black and white to turn on the power, and as far as I know, the monkey round, but I didn't play the very late entries in the Call of Duty series. I don't know, monkeys might be back. Who knows? This map places the player in Soviet Russia at an abandoned cosmodrome, and this time the Ultimus crew are back to actually accomplish a story objective. This is the first Easter egg that follows a step-by-step process to progress a story. On Doris and Kino, it was more subtle context clues and the foundation of a story being built. But on February 1st of 2011, there was actual progress that you could impact. See, this map has all the features that innovated Zombies. PhD Flopper giving you the ability to dolphin dive for no damage and an explosion at the end of it. Also no fall damage and no explosion damage. So Mustang and Sally were no longer a trade-off weapon. Stamina Up was a must from this map onward for much longer sprint and faster movement. The Matryoshka dolls were not only fun for the novelty of the explosions and having the crew's face on them, but you could even find others around the map as a fun Easter egg.
Hi, Dempsey! Oh, you look just like my sister. Your eyes are empty, Takeo. I hate you, Richtofen. You ugly American. I will not work for you. Oh, the Emperor! Good day, Doctor. Big Dempsey, you're so big. Ah, don't breathe on me. Oh, hi, Takeo. Stop tickling me. Hey, good looking. Your breath smells like death. Hey, what's up, Tak? You suck, Richtofen.
Gersh devices were these weird black hole portal grenades that are important for the first Easter egg, so hold on to that one for now. But the Matryoshka dolls and the Gersh devices were this map's new wonder weapons. And I say good. No more Winter's Howl on this map, and the Thunder Gun is back. And this map already has enough new that enjoying the Thunder Gun again felt fresh. Ascension started the map in black and white until you turned on the power. But by turning on the power, you're also priming the rocket to begin step 1 of a launch sequence.
Main power online. Auxiliary power deactivated. Rocket approaching test position. Initiating Luna navigation systems. Awaiting security protocol 13255.
It's an interesting concept that the power being flicked on is what makes zombies more rewarding while also more challenging. Kino's power spawned Nova 6 crawlers, and 5 let the Pentagon thieves spawn. Ascension's power primes the rocket, but it also begins a potential monkeys round with lunar landers falling from the sky and monkeys trying to kill you and steal your perks. If you don't let them touch a machine, they drop a free perk. But power did one more thing. This little generator outside of the map is making a lot of noise, and on February 2nd of 2011, the team of TTG Walshy, X-Goons HD, Optimus Prime, Sick Little Ace, and FWC2 Sora came together in a party chat to crack the code. Ascension introduced the Gersh device, the black hole portal, and this little generator would become the first step of the first major Easter egg in Zombies history. So they threw a Gersh device at the generator.
Casimir mechanism activation in progress. Error. No power detected.
You've done it. Now, it needs as much power as possible. Hurry, she's getting nearer.
It's always about getting the power on. Man.
The clues Treyarch left for every single puzzle of this once thought complex Easter egg were left with that ominous sound. And step 2 had the team asking more questions.
Power rerouted to Casimir mechanism. Node 1 activated.
Pause. Okay, 2011 Illuminati obsession was everywhere. You just couldn't get away from it, and you're going to see a lot of reference to them in Zombies. The voice follows up.
3 more. No, stop it!
Step 3 required a monkey round to complete the step. And while we wait for the monkey round to spawn, I want to remind you guys about this. Whatever this was, it was also new. My goal with these videos is to put you guys back into the space of 2011 and just seeing how different the internet was and how the spread of information was. So to see something like this happen, especially this close to the release of the Easter egg, it's pretty impressive. There was no achievement for solving Ascension's Easter egg. There was no point of reference to work with. It's not like Reddit had some mega threads that would tell you what to do. No, Reddit wasn't even popular at the time. And it's not like this Easter egg was promoted by Treyarch themselves. The year is also 2011, and this is a console-first game. I mean, the PC version of this map pack for Black Ops didn't release for a month and a half. So a lot of people actually missed the Ascension Easter egg the first time around. And it went under the radar so much so that I was sent a list of Easter egg world's first completions from people who thought that somebody else solved them. And Ascensions not only didn't have the right team, it had a video of Spider-Bite from NGT Zombies running around with a thunder gun at round 150. A video posted a year after Ascension's Easter egg was really solved. I'm not saying everything in this list was wrong. In fact, I verified the Black Ops World's First, and they're correct outside of this one. I'm just saying that it goes to show how little was known or covered with Ascension that a mistake like this could even happen. It was the infant of Zombies Easter eggs. And on top of that, because we're talking about Xbox 360 Zombies, there's so many chances that the team could disconnect along the way. I mean, if the host connection was bad, there you go, you're out of the lobby. You cannot rejoin. And all the other sorts of jank that Xbox 360 provided made Easter eggs incredibly difficult. With my research, I was brought to an archive forum. According to the techgame.com archives, the players that I listed previously, and we will get to the reason this team fell short later, because it looks like a monkey round has come in just in time. This step needed all 4 players to complete and required you to push the buttons that spawned out of the wall next to the 4 of 6 perk machines: Jug, Flopper, Stamina Up, and Speed Cola. If pressed at the exact same time, this happened.
Power rerouted to Casimir mechanism. Node 2 activated.
There needs to be more concentrated power for this to work.
The hint for this next step is that there needed to be more concentrated power. And if you know your Zombies, there is only one place to get more power. But that required Ascension's brand new mechanic, and one of my favorites, the Lunar Landers. For the cheap price of 250 points, or free if you're calling it over, these landers took you around the map for a pause from the Zombies action to unlock Pack-a-Punch. For more concentrated power, you just needed to ride all 3 landers, then press the button next to power to launch the rocket. But did you know you can easily destroy the rocket with a ray gun? This drops a double points and is another reason I love Ascension. Small details and rewards for your thinking go a long way for something considered simple by today's standards. Now that Pack-a-Punch is unlocked, the next step's hint is a clock with ballistic knives as the hands, giving off that sound again. This time, you just need all 4 players to stand and defend the plate in the center of the missile silo for 1 whole minute. When the clock strikes midnight, you're done, and a nuke will go off, killing the crawlers, or as Mr. Dalek said in his video back in the day,
alright, and once the clock happens, there'll be a nuke explosion that will kill all the cripples that you have. So just watch out for that.
The next step reminds me a lot of Tony Hawk's older games with giant letters to collect and do tricks for. This step requires you to call the landers to certain spots to spell the word Luna. I believe this was a hint to the final map of Black Ops since Luna is Latin for moon, but I'm curious what you think. Leave me a comment. The order to spell out Luna with the landers is to call the landers to spawn, to claymores/stamina up, then claymores/stamina up to spawn to sickle/speed cola, and then sickle/speed cola to claymores and stamina up.
Power rerouted to Casimir mechanism. Node 4 activated. Full power achieved.
Casimir mechanism is active. Quickly, open the port.
This is where this group was stopped. And on the Tech Game forum, they said,
this step is not completed yet because it keeps saying more power. But more info will come soon on how to complete the Easter egg hunt. Upgraded Thunder Gun and Ray Gun will most likely be required. There will now be a whistling projector by the Stamina Up lander. The projector will point to a spot on the ground, throw a Gersh device at this spot, then shoot all your upgraded Thunder Gun and Ray Gun ammo into it. Then jump through it or flop into it, dive in with Dr. Flopper? The mystery guy will say more power or something else, but I don't know how to get past this node, so there you go. Try this and see if you can figure out the rest of the riddle. If not, keep trying.
They were that close to becoming world's first on the very first Easter egg in Zombies. But the only video I could find on the completion came a few days later on February 5th of 2011 by none other than Mr. Dalek JD.
Gersh device, Russian dolls, everything. You all got to shoot. You throw the Gersh device down, you throw the Russian dolls immediately after into the Gersh device, and then you shoot your ray gun, you shoot your thunder gun, you shoot the crossbow all into it, and it should send that little light up into the sky and it will release the guy. And you will all get death machines. These aren't infinite, these only last for 90 seconds, and
90-second death machines versus what zombies would become with massive story cutscenes and true endings of the maps. Dalek found that by using a Pack-a-Punch ray gun, a Pack-a-Punch crossbow, a Pack-a-Punch thunder gun, a Gersh device, Matryoshka dolls, and unloading all of this on the light, it was enough power to finally free the ghostly orb. Ascension's story tells us about the betrayal and fills in missing pieces of 5. But keep in mind this story was background and intentionally vague for Black Ops 1. Dr. Yuri, the Pentagon thief, and Dr. Anton Gersh, the voice of Ascension, were both a part of the Ascension group for the Soviet Union. Samatha invaded Yuri's mind and the facility, triggering Yuri to betray Gersh and Gersh to use the device, splitting them all apart. Yuri was insane and against his own wishes ended up in the Pentagon. Samatha disappeared as well, and Dr. Gersh was trapped until we finally freed him. Ascension, much like other Black Ops 1 maps, was focused on having the story in the background for you to enjoy if you sought the extra time. But for the first time, there were team-involved steps to seek out a proper reward and a proper answer. And ladies and gentlemen, it only gets better and more complex from here.